Arcane Season 2 is pretty great. I have some issues here and there, but it overall is really good. My only gripe with the season is that of the insertion of time travel. Now, I'm okay with Echo's time travel abilities because it was very limited, but I was really bothered by how the show revealed that Victor was the one who gave Jace the runestones and actually has been going back in time, giving Jace the runestones to see which one will lead to a good outcome. That just bothers me a lot. For one, let's be honest, this isn't Victor. It's clear that it is someone else, and before you say it was from Jace's perspective and so the guy would look different, obviously, the model they used is nowhere near similar to Victor. The plan was most likely that this was a different character who gave Jace the runestones to help him. For what? I don't know. It probably was just being used as a quick explanation on how Jace got the runestones. It wasn't important who gave him the runestones. What was important was how he used it, not some huge time travel plot. For another, I get annoyed at time travel stories being inserted in non-time travel stories. It's because it wasn't about that. Time travel stories are mostly about accepting that one cannot change the past without negative consequences. It's about accepting what is and trying to move forward from that. Sure, Arcane is also about that, but its exploration of that theme was not done through the lens of time travel, it was done through other means. So the season changing the lens is very jarring for me, and it then has to take a detour and to explain why the time travel can't be used to solve the issues plaguing the story. It just disrupts the focus of the story and shifts it into something else that's only tangentially related. And that just sucks. One of the reasons I love about Season 1 is that it focuses so much on the political aspects of the world and how the characters react to it. Zahn is pressed by Piltover and the characters reflect that. Vander tried to be a revolutionary but changed when he saw his friends and family died. If he won in the end, he would have lost the people he was fighting for, and to him, that wasn't worth it. And I'm not saying whether he was right for doing that, just that as a character, he felt it wasn't right. Whereas Silco is willing to make that sacrifice. The politics of the show was a huge aspect, and I feel like it wasn't as huge as a part of it in Season 2. It all got assimilated into the time travel story, like what happened with Shimmer. Shimmer was to Zahn what Hextech was to Piltover, a huge change to the society that made them notable, but it was just kinda unimportant. Characters still use Shimmer to enhance themselves, but has taken a massive backseat. Additionally, the implications that Shimmer was somewhat related to the Void is now just gone. I get why they didn't want to do that, because making it part of the Void would steer the story into a different direction outside of the political implications. But what I think is more accurate to what actually happened is that the real reason is they didn't want to distract it from the time travel story that they were telling. But it still just sucks that they just sidelined Shimmer. And what about the Chem Barons? Sure, the first 3 episodes involved them heavily, but in a system like Zahn, you can't just cut off the head of the snake and everything will be fine. Another snake will take its place. But we don't see that. We don't see another figure like Silco taken over. Sure, it is somewhat explained by Piltover taking over Zahn and thus ensuring that no other Chem Barons can come about, but it would have been a great opportunity to introduce Renata into the show. A massive power vacuum was created, and so you can have someone like Renata takes the stage to be the next leader of Zahn. She is similar in many ways to Silco, but also in different others. She presents herself as an acceptable Zahnite to Piltovers, one of the good ones, and she could have leveraged that to advance her own goals. She could have also worked alongside Singe to continue advances with Shimmer. There is a lot of potential that just was left on the ground. But the problem with something like that is it would make the season feel a bit bloated and wouldn't lend itself well to the time travel plot. The time travel plot needed the room to be successful, and having another Silco-like figure would take away from that. Also, why did they change Hextech from how it worked? And nowhere in Season 1 did it imply that overusing Hextech would lead it to being corrupted. It was quite clear that what corrupted the Hextech was Victor combining it with Shimmer. But no, it just seems that on a long enough time span, Hextech would just become corrupted, which I don't get why they went in that direction. Just to clarify, I don't know what their intention was exactly. From what I can tell from the show, they wanted to portray the negative consequences of Hextech on how it being used will create conflicts and division, which is cool and all, but they already had that method established. Season 1 showed us the negative consequences of Hextech. It being solely used by Piltover increased the gap between them and Zahn. Zahn wasn't allowed to access that technology, and this caused them to descend into more poverty. Hextech wasn't corruptive itself. It was its use and how limited its accessibility was that caused the issue. They could have just continued that instead of introducing that Hextech will become chaotic over time. I just don't understand that, and again, it seems that this is because of the time travel insertion. Hextech became corrupted over time, lends itself to the inevitability of the world. Someone somewhere will create Hextech and it will lead to the future that Victor created. It may not be him specifically, but someone like him, and he uses the Arcane to time travel to ensure that the best timeline is created. I don't think they need to do that, but for what they wanted to do, it felt like it was necessary. I feel like they could have just had Victor's glorious evolution go the same way it did in the show, but then just have him be killed by Echo. Glorious evolution ended right there and then. Would it feel less thematically appropriate? Sure, but I would have liked it a lot more because it means that the aspects would have been allowed to breathe. We could have had the politics more prominent in the show and Hextech wouldn't have been changed or Shimmer sidelined. Now I do want to say that there is still some good politics within the show. Again, the first 3 episodes are pretty good at this and episodes 4 to 6 do it quite well. But as the show continues and goes on, it focuses less on less, slowly introducing and setting up the time travel plot. You can see that in order for the time travel plot to work, they needed to warp other aspects of the world for it to make sense. What was the time travel story being used for, Eve? Well, from my understanding, it was used to explore Jace's and Victor's relationship and the consequences of Victor's actions. Which, like, I can get that, but other elements had to take a back seat for that to work, and I feel like they could have done it differently. Instead of having Hextech be corrupted over time, they could have just had Victor use Shimmer to combine with the Hextech, which causes it to be what is depicted in the show, a combination of technology and biology. And then Jace, Heimerdinger, and Echo encounter the combination, and then get shown the visions as depicted in the show. They get to see the consequences of Victor's reality, and that'll be all groovy. It can still be episodes, but in reality, the visions would happen instantly. Heimerdinger and Echo would still make the Z-Drive in the real world, and Jace would go kill his friend. No need to add a time travel or multiverses. They could even still maintain the ending. I feel like there were better ways of doing this. And I think my biggest problem is that I just don't like some of the direction that Season 2 went into. The time travel plot was done well, but I wish they didn't do that. I wish they instead focused on the different direction. What it did, it achieved wonderfully, but I wish it was achieving something else. But I don't want this video's takeaway to be, whoa, Arcane fell off, because it truly is a great show. There was no way Vander was going to come back for real, but the possibility is so engaging. I care about Vi, Jinx, and Vander so much. I want them to be a family again. And just before Vander came back, learning about Vi's and Jinx's mother, and how Vander and Silco's relationship is just so cool. Everything about that was what I wanted. The desire to see them back together was strong, and the desire to hope it doesn't go wrong was strong as well. The end of episode 6 was just so good. I love how Singe is portrayed in the show, how he isn't on anyone's side, but he's on his own, and how we got to see his daughter as well. It really is just cool. And the whole Black Rose plotline, just like the imagery, the dialogue, the mystery, it is all so good. I am looking forward to the new Noxus show. It looks quite good, and it seems that a lot of the lead characters are going to be involved, and I am looking forward to seeing how they are done, especially Swain. So yeah, thank you for watching. I really do love Arcane. Arcane Season 2 is still some really good fiction, and I wanted to make sure people understand that. Sure, the show could have been better, and there were some like missed opportunities, but it was still good. But anyways, if you liked the video, perhaps you like it. If you dislike it, well, there's a button for that. And if you really liked it, maybe subscribe, and comment down below on what you thought about the video, and any thoughts you have. I love reading your comments, and I promise to respond to all of them. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching.